Hi, I'm Aiko. I'm here at a cafe in Tokyo, enjoying this quiet afternoon as the rain traces paths on the windows. This peaceful moment made me remember a piece of advice from my mom that changed my life forever, and today I want to share it with you. When it felt like everything was falling apart, my mom's words lit the path I needed to follow. It was a gray day, mirroring how I felt inside. I'd spent months working on a marketing campaign for a big client. This project meant everything to me, not just because it was a chance to show my creativity, but because it was my dream to create something that could make an impact. But when I presented it, the client said it didn't meet their expectations and needed significant changes. Team was discouraged and directionless, and I felt crushed under the weight of the criticism and the unmovable deadlines. Questions started filling my mind. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? The atmosphere in my apartment felt heavy, as if every corner reflected the pressure I was carrying. I'm a 25-year-old professional, passionate about my work, but struggling under the pressure of delivering on a big project. My mom? She's a wise woman, whose calmness always brings clarity in the toughest moments. Everything felt like it was falling apart, and uncertainty began to creep in. That's when I remembered something Mom used to say. When everything feels out of control, grab a cup of coffee and listen to what your heart really needs. Without thinking twice, I grabbed my phone and called her. The warmth in her voice when she answered was like a balm for my nerves. She invited me over that same afternoon, and even though I hesitated, I agreed. On my way there, Tokyo's streets seemed to mirror my mood. The light rain and the hurried footsteps of people under their umbrellas seemed to echo my chaotic thoughts. I wondered if opening up to her about my fears would even make a difference. But something inside me, the memory of her unwavering support, pushed me to go. When I arrived, Mom greeted me with a freshly brewed cup of coffee and that smile that always manages to calm me down. We sat together in the small garden behind her house, under the soft sound of the rain. She listened quietly as I poured out how lost I felt. Then, with her usual calmness, she said, "Do you remember when you used to dream about projects like this? You'd say you wanted to change the world with your ideas, even if just a little." Her words brought back memories of my early hopes. I confessed my fears and sense of failure to her. She replied, "Did you know that when I started my business, things didn't go as planned either? But I learned it's not about doing it perfectly, it's about moving forward and learning along the way." As she stirred her coffee, she looked me in the eyes and added, "Even the strongest trees face storms. What makes them special is how they use those storms to grow stronger. You can do that too." Her words weren't just advice. They were an invitation to trust myself and what I was capable of, even if the road wasn't perfect. That night, as I headed home, her words echoed in my mind. I realized that my fear of failure had been paralyzing me. I remembered why I started this project, not to be perfect, but to leave my mark, even if it was small. The next day, I took action. I set up a meeting with the client to fully understand what aspects of the campaign didn't meet their expectations. I took detailed notes on their feedback and went through the material with my team. I suggested breaking tasks into smaller chunks to focus on the most urgent fixes first. It wasn't easy, but we managed to adjust the campaign on time. The client was satisfied and even praised our willingness to adapt quickly. It wasn't perfect, but the project delivered positive results. My mom's advice completely changed how I see things. She taught me that the biggest obstacles are often the ones we create for ourselves, and that moving forward, even imperfectly, is always worth it. Now, whenever I face challenges or moments of doubt, I hear her voice saying, "Aiko, it's not about the perfect path. It's about taking each step with purpose." And that's my story. Have you ever gotten advice from your mom that helped you overcome a tough moment? Share it with me in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Don't miss the next one. I'm sure it'll touch your heart. Thanks for sharing this moment with me at this lovely cafe in Tokyo.